So how did you end up like this?
Well, it's a long story.
It sure is.
In fact, if it was a movie, it would take 3 or 4 sequels just to do it justice.
I think that I was in a video store and I saw a copy of The Bride of Frankenstein, and I just thought, wow, that would be great if we were able to create a bride for Chucky. And so I spoke to Don Mancini about the concept, and he weaved this great tale for The Bride of Chucky.
Well, it definitely is structured as a romantic comedy, which I thought was kind of an innovative thing to do. And when I say romantic comedy, I mean in the sense that like a slamming door farce where there are all kinds of misunderstandings and pickles that the characters get into that they have to get out of, where we in the audience are watching them and we know what really is going on, but the characters have some huge misunderstanding between them.
The script itself, the visual description, is very similar to my style of filmmaking. So I think that is very important.
One of the ways that Chucky has changed is that a humor has come out of him, a kind of a black comedy, dark humor. And there were moments of that in the first and second and third films, and every time those moments happened, the audience really responded. It was kind of an emotional roller coaster of scary, scary, and then Chucky would just have kind of a throwaway line and the audience would laugh and applaud. And so we've kind of taken those moments and built them up more in this film, obviously with a relationship with the bride, and as there is in any relationship, the give and take, and out of that situation has come a great deal of humor.
I always learning from the old masters like Hitchcock and Brian De Palma and all those old masters. They always have, when you look at their films, it's good that when you scare people and then you sort of, before you go to another scare, you sort of give them another relaxation. So give them another comic relief, and then hit it again with a shock.
The fact that the dolls really are the leads in this film, whereas in the previous ones, Chucky was a little bit more of a peripheral presence. This time, he really is front and center. He and Tiffany carry the film.
What the hell? I need the exercise.
Were you born with that knife super glued onto your hand or what?
What are you talking about?
For God's sake, Chucky, drag yourself into the 90s. Stabbings went out with Bundy and Dahmer. You look like Martha Stewart with that thing.
Who the fuck is Martha Stewart?
My idol.
I think a lot of people find dolls very, very creepy. I think it's sort of like clowns that people find dolls. The fact that it's something that looks so much like a human and yet doesn't, it's sort of distorted. And I think everybody's had that nightmare when they're looking at their dolls at night that they think, ooh, wouldn't it be creepy if their dolls started to talk?
What might be the worst nightmare, your favorite toy turns out to be a homicidal maniac. I know I had some very, very bad nightmares with my Barbie collection, which I'm not proud to say that I had a pretty extensive collection. Barbie in Vegas was my favorite.
I think that people have always loved the idea of images of themselves in toy-like form being brought to life. Twilight Zone, Talking Tina, the clown in Poltergeist. There's just something unnerving about it. And yet with Chucky, there is not only something unnerving about this little innocent Cabbage Patch-like creature that has come to life, but there's also something fun about the fact that he has a bit of a foul mouth, that he says things that a lot of us can't say and that he's able to get away with.
Chucky's a cool cat. I mean, he really is. He's got a lot of charisma. And I watch him. I haven't seen a lot of Chucky because I intentionally stayed away from the doll as much as possible so that it wouldn't become, oh, look how cute Chucky is.
He's bad. He's bad, and then yet he's cute. Even though he does bad things, like he killed people, he do some violent things, but he is somebody who doesn't care I mean, he's just so focused to go his own way, to get what he wants.
Well, he's constantly looking at me, and I always catch him staring, and there's just something about him and his eyes, I think there's a real soul in there, despite all his toughness, and I think there's something about him. It's kind of sexy, in a sick, twisted kind of way.
I'm very happy that Chucky has finally gotten a girlfriend, because maybe she can help him relieve some of his pent-up aggressions, and he can be a more peaceful, loving, 60s kind of guy.
Wait.
What?
Have you got a rubber?
Have I got a rubber?
Yeah.
Tiff,
What?
look at me. I'm all rubber.
Oh, that's right. Wait, I thought you were plastic.
Tiff,
What?
kiss me.
Okay.
Tiffany is very, very sexy. In fact, the first time I was looking at her and I was like turning her over, she had a big hole in the crotch of her fishnet stockings. And I said, wow, this is, real good attention to detail. And David and Don got really embarrassed. And they said, well, that's an accident.
I created the look of Tiffany on paper, and then Kevin Yeager and I sat down at his computer and plugged my drawing in and began to enhance breasts and add things like tattoo and such, and little pieces of Melrose Place hair.
They're only 2 feet tall, 2 feet, a few inches tall. So it's a very tiny package that has to do everything that a human does. Rotate upper arm and lower arm, and then bending wrist, and bending elbow, and then full rotation on the arm. Same thing in the other. Body has to move left, right, up, down, spin. Head, left, right, front, back, and also spin. So it's a lot of little tiny things in there.
It's a very difficult process with just one doll, and when you have 2 and you have 15 people that have to crowd around a small space because our stages are built on rafters, it is very difficult.
So we've got a guy on fingers. We've got one person on left arm, one person on right arm, one person on body and head to do all of this kind of stuff, this kind of action. 3 people in the face alone. So it's probably, anywhere, minimal 7 people, but it can take up to 8 or 9 people per puppet.
What I do is I just edit out myself to the puppeteers. I said, okay, this is how I see Chucky, his facial expression, whatever, and so in a way it's easier for the director because he's at total control.
What are you doing? What would Martha Stewart say?
Fuck Martha Stewart! Martha Stewart can kiss my shiny plastic butt!
The greatest thing was when people, after the first movie, said to me, and I've heard it on, that they cannot walk into their kid's room now without thinking of Chucky, and it just really gives them quite a bit of a chill.
It's completely thrilling to me that Chucky is a household name, because I've been a lifelong horror fan. I loved horror movies as a kid, saw every one, and I still do, even at the age of 35. So that's something that's really thrilling to me, that something that I created has been embraced by fans of the genre.
Well, actually, I've seen all the Chucky movies. When I was a kid, my parents would forbid me to see any Child's Play movies, but I broke out of the house a couple of times.
The good thing about acting with a puppet is that they never get into your light because it's so short. They never stand in your light, and they don't try to upstage you because they just have the lines that they've already done.
It's really fun. I mean, it's a carnival ride. And I think that's when we're the most successful with this franchise, is when we can keep people guessing as to whether they're going to laugh or scream or hide their hands over their face. And I feel very proud of that with this film, that we've really delivered something that is just a fun ride.
There will be more, and there will be new elements brought to the world of Chucky that will, like we did with this movie, reinvent it in a way that will bring something new, as well as the stuff that we already like.
Huh? A true classic never goes out of style.
That was good.